What I think would be a better move for LeBron is retire and focus on your sons and your family rather than stat pad so that you can continue to try to make the case you're the GOAT. That's what this is about. The proper play here when you're a billionaire, you've had a great career, the Lakers aren't really doing anything, they're not championship contenders, retire. There's nothing wrong with retirement. There's a better way to spend time with your son rather than in a locker room with a bunch of people that think like, hey, this dude's only here because of who his daddy is.
Jason Whitlock reacts to Bronny James playing like trash. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
No Joel Embiid last night at, par for the course. This was a winnable game for the Lakers.
Should have won.
And they decided, hey, it was so winnable, no Joel Embiid, and the Sixers are having a tough start to their season. Hey, this will be a good night to bring Bronny James on in prime time in a game that will win. And instead, they get beat by 14 points and get embarrassed. And the entire conversation now is about Bronny James and what's he doing in the NBA, playing in the NBA.
Yeah, that was a terrible look for Bronny. Terrible look for the Lakers organization. It's obvious that Bronny isn't ready yet. Should just stay in the G League, disappear for a little bit. I know the G League ends and the season usually continues on, but if I were the Lakers, JJ Redick, if he has a voice, I'm leaving Bronny in the G League. He's not going to even play in garbage time. The team that you thought you were going to beat destroyed you. So again, terrible look for Bronny. Don't know if he's ever going to be able to figure this thing out.
I really think this is Bronny getting the shot blocked. He should have done what Angel Reese did and passed to the man behind
Should have done a lot.
him. But, hey, I really do think LeBron thought, hey, no Joel Embiid, the Sixers are struggling. Hey, we'll get to sneak my boy out here in a national televised game and he'll look good. And it blew up in his face. Do you think at any point, maybe it'll be a year from now, that LeBron will regret having forced the Lakers to do this and having forced his son into the NBA?
Again, this was a perfect game for him to actually play, but at the end of the day, he's still not ready. Even the role players on the 76ers, 10 times better than Bronny, but you would want him to play in these type of games. It would have been better if the Lakers were winning most of the time and then throw Bronny in there, but he has to start playing meaningful minutes, but it's hard for him to even play in the NBA, so I don't know. The G League looks great for Bronny, but being an NBA player right now, it ain't looking good for Bronny. Hopefully he can figure this thing out. Don't know if he'll ever figure it out, but again, put him in the G League and just let him play there until he can be at least close to being an NBA-ready player.
No, because to have those type of thoughts and feelings, you got to have some shame. And he has no shame. I mean, this is a shameless gambit to begin with. And he set his son up for success. He's making money. Got him out of school, gets to hang out with them a little bit here and there, and he can say that we made history. I mean, Jason, whether we like it or not, and I don't know if we want to call us purists or NBA guardians, I know a lot of other people do, mission accomplished. Because they got enough of the mainstream media to buy into this as a feel-good story. The actual performance of the son, I hate to say it, but this is the blunt truth, it doesn't matter.
I think, and let's keep in mind, I want to beat my critics to it, and I have self-awareness. Look, me and Steve are not fathers. But when I look at this and evaluate this, I see LeBron James trying to say, hey, man, I've been playing basketball professionally since I was 18. I'm on the road half the year. I'm out doing all these things. And so I want to spend some time with my son. And so I'm going to make him part of my basketball team. He's a decent basketball player. And this is a part of me being a good dad. What I think would be a better move for LeBron is retire and focus on your sons and your family rather than stat pad so that you can continue to try to make the case you're the GOAT. That's what this is about. The proper play here when you're a billionaire, you've had a great career, the Lakers aren't really doing anything, they're not championship contenders, retire. There's nothing wrong with retirement. These extra stats that he's adding on and this distinction of my son, who is a mid-major college basketball player at best, played with me in the NBA, he's actually diminishing himself.
Yeah, this is more part of LeBron James' legacy. let me go ahead and play with Bronny, maybe play with Bryce, but this was a legacy move for LeBron James. It's obvious that Bronny isn't ready, should have really stayed in college, had the heart situation, so he kind of missed a lot of time. Don't want to keep bringing that up, but you kind of got to include it a little bit. But overall, even without the heart situation, what you see with Bronny is what you get. Someone that's going to struggle to be in the NBA. If LeBron wasn't his father, he definitely wouldn't be in the NBA right now. Just a lot of stuff going on with Bronny. LeBron James definitely got to have a conversation with him as far as his future in the NBA.
Rather than elevating himself. And, there's a better way to spend time with your son rather than in a locker room with a bunch of people that think like, hey, this dude's only here because of who his daddy is.
That's pretty much what it is.
I would argue, though, Jason, that for the first 18, 19 years of Bronny's life, LeBron was a great father based on the circumstances that they lived under, the fishbowl existence, the spotlight. He did an exemplary job of raising a young man. He really did. Never got into trouble, graduated high school, was good enough to get a scholarship at USC, seems well-behaved, well-mannered. Never see him in the police blotter, never see him on TMZ. All of this extra stuff, I think what's unfortunate is he's turned his son into a bit of a punchline. I don't think anyone's ever going to take his son seriously as a basketball player. But I don't think this adds on to his legacy as a father. His legacy as a father was already set. He did a good job with all his young men, it seems like. That family's well raised, no matter what criticisms we have of him as an athlete. As a father and husband, based on the circumstances and the life that he leads, it's as good as you can do in this particular era. That does not mean it's perfect. It does not mean that there are warts, but it is what it is. But to me, as someone who used to be a Laker fan and will be again, hopefully within a year or two, this just is really emblematic, as I said, of something that has nothing to do with winning. It is not about the organization. It is certainly not about us fans. But it is about one man and his ego, LeBron James.
Again, definitely an ego play. No one can question LeBron as a parent. Did a great job so far. Kids are under the radar, staying out of trouble. But just as far as this being a legacy hit, I think you're going to start hearing this within the media, like this whole Bronny James situation, manipulating the draft. Is there going to be some sort of an asterisk by LeBron James, like played good, played great in the NBA, top 4, top 5 player of all time, but this Bronny situation is not a good look for LeBron overall?
But I'm going to have to get you to jump in here because you're a father of two. But I'm going to say I agree with you, Steve. Based on the limited information that we have, LeBron's done a great job as a father, based on the limited information we have. I will say this, just thinking about my own father and the things that I remember. And maybe I'm going to be a tiny bit of a hypocrite here because my fondest memories is the time I spent with my father at the bars he owned and engaging and hanging out with my dad and his friends at Jimmy's J Bar J and the Masterpiece Lounge. And I mean, those are some of my greatest memories. The fishing trips that he and my brother and I took, the Pacer games we went to, those are great memories as well. And then when I got a little bit older, the trips we took where I took my dad to a Mike Tyson fight. Me, my dad, my brother all went to a Tyson fight in Vegas. But I just think there's a time when you're a father and you've spent so much time traveling around like LeBron, is you have a desire to spend more quality time with your son. And no different than me hanging out at the Jimmy's J Bar J when I was underage, and I'd sit back in the kitchen and, during the day I could sit at the bar. Once it became at night, we'd either go to my dad's office or we'd sit in the kitchen. I get a man wanting to spend time with his son and making him a part of his work life. I can. I hate to. Gaston Mooney told me that one of his son's favorite thing is to take a work trip with him.
Again, solid debate if you want to go that route with it. LeBron wanted to spend more time with Bronny. I'm sure that's a part of it. Again, this is all a part of LeBron James' legacy. Getting Bronny in the league, playing with his son on the same team, more than him trying to spend time with them. LeBron only has about a few years left in the league, so he would have had enough time to really be at the games, support the kids, do what he can do. I know he's a busy person, but again, this is more of just a legacy play for LeBron, more than him just wanting to spend some quality time with Bronny. He would have had a lot more time to do that within the next few years. He's bound to retire. He's not going to play until he's 50 or 60. So again, I know he tried to make this legacy play, but it's not turning out too well as far as Bronny.
And loves that. And they get to spend a lot of time. And so maybe that's all LeBron's doing, and I need to be a little bit easier on him. But I just think when you make your son, it's like not like I was serving drinks at the Masterpiece Lounge, not like I was the DJ at the Masterpiece Lounge. I was a little mascot that sat on a bar stool or sat in my dad's office or sat in the kitchen, out of the way, not a major focus of what was going on with the match. Anyway, Butter, I'm sure you can relate and perhaps have a thought on what LeBron's trying to accomplish with his son. Good, bad, indifferent about it. You think proper thing he's doing here?
I don't think it's proper. I look for ways to not embarrass my kids as they've gotten older, and we love spending time together. I love spending time with my kids, but I'm also cognizant of how I'm doing it and where I'm doing it. When I'm at their baseball games or I'm coaching or I'm involved with them, I'm trying hard to not put them in uncomfortable positions. I think LeBron has just missed that mark, almost socially inept to the degree. That's a separate conversation from how good of a father he is or how close their family is. Being a father is being present. It's not being perfect, and he has been there. And there's a lot of great that you see in that family. I just think this is a socially inept decision. That's why I don't think he'll feel bad about it in a few years. And I agree with your point. If this is about spending more time, then retire.
Exactly.
And I think that's the move. I think this has not been a very good look. I think it's made his son honestly uncomfortable, and it just feels forced. And nothing about it is judging him as a father, but as a decision maker.
Yeah, I agree with that. And again, if you want to spend more quality time with the fam, go ahead and retire. You got the most points in NBA history as of right now. Don't know if anyone's going to catch that. Would have to have a great longevity, no injuries. So his legacy solidified as far as a basketball player. But again, this was all an ego play. Try to do everything he can to kind of surpass Michael Jordan. What better way to do that is, let me get my son in the league and get him on the same team as me, and then maybe get Bryce in the league. So again, LeBron, you may have had great intentions, but you are embarrassing Bronny right now. Every time you listen to a Bronny James interview, he talks about his confidence. So that's letting you know that he's not ready yet. He's been in the NBA for a few months, had a lot of run in the G League, but his confidence is up and down. Then after that game with the Sixers, 0 points, multiple turnovers, can't make a field goal. His confidence is going to get shot, especially after that game.
Yeah, Steve, you know what I think LeBron he could have retired a year or two ago, and he could be traveling to Bronny's college basketball games.
Well,
What better experience is that?
well, Jay, how many times have we heard this? A guy retires, either a coach or player. Well, I've had a good long run. I just want to spend more quality time with the family. A year later, they're coming back, taking another job. Okay, so we've seen that. But to Butter's point, I think it's the difference, and it touches upon something. Jason, when you're hanging out in the back of the kitchen of your father's bar, and maybe you're helping out, if you break a dish or you screw up an order, the public doesn't see it. It's not a viral moment. When Gaston Mooney is out there on a trip with his son, there's not the paparazzi following their every move. It's two people getting to know each other. The issue is, for better or worse, whether it's fair or not, LeBron James is a polarizing figure. So once it becomes that 20-point blowout with 3 minutes to go, and that young man chucks into the game, at least half of America, and we're an example of it right now on this segment, we are sharpening the knives. We are waiting for those moments where he blows a layup, where he gets his shot rejected in the third row. And guess what? We're leading off with it today on Fearless. I don't even think LeBron realized my unpopularity to certain segments of America will now go over to all of my young kids.
We'll see what happens moving forward with Bronny if he's able to figure this thing out. Again, he should just be in the G League 90% of the time until he can show that he can play a solid 15 to 20 minutes. It may not be meaningful, but he's not even ready to play in garbage time. So that's letting you know Bronny's nowhere near being an NBA player. LeBron got to look in the mirror, see what he did. I know he wanted to improve his legacy and surpass Michael Jordan, but you destroyed Bronny James.